Hello, and welcome to Issues and Insight, the show that keeps you informed and engaged in all that's going on in our community. I'm your host, Kendra Scott, and thank you for joining us today. So, have you heard about this dynamic organization that provides care, assistance, lots of love for literally hundreds of children in our community? It's called Mission Hope for Kids. And today, we are blessed to have them with us to share all about the agency, the kids, and the families they serve, as well as the impact that they're making in our community. So please welcome Ms. Nelle Thomas, the Executive Director of Mission Hope for Kids, and Kaitlyn Jackson, the Resource Development and Volunteer Coordinator. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you, Kendra. It's good to be here.
Yes,
it's good to be here.
Since we've seen you and had you on the show.
That's right.
It's time. It is time, because you all have got, we were talking earlier that it seemed like just a few years ago, but y'all have been in existence for a while, so it's amazing how time flies and how your program has grown and the impact you've made. So tell us a little bit, just a brief history of the organization and what prompted you to get it started.
Well, Kendra, we go back to actually 2006. We actually had our little humble beginning in a living room right down East Railroad Avenue. There was a lady there that had a burden for the children in her neighborhood, and she felt like they needed some guidance, and so she invited me to come into her little living room, and we started with a little handful of 15 kiddos that just were hungry for love and food and just a lot of attention. So we started in that little living room back in 2006.
Wow. And did you ever think it would expand and grow to what it is today?
I had no idea. I had no idea. And I think I almost missed it, because after the first night of working with those kids in that little living room, I was disappointed because it didn't go the way I thought it should go. And so on my way home, I thought, I don't know if I want to do this. But, you know, something in my spirit and my little heart said, something you need to do. So I went back into that little living room and kept working with the children. So I'm glad I didn't say no.
Right. Yes. Well, I'm sure the kids are too, because
right.
Gosh, think of what would have happened if you had not interceded. So you moved from that little living room to another space.
Yes, we moved to a church and just started busing about 15 kids. They wanted to come to church with us. So we brought them to a midweek service on a Wednesday night, and we fed them and gave them a faith lesson because they wanted to learn more about God. And so we probably in about 2 years, we were busing in 150 kids, and it was pretty wild. Yeah. So that's when we knew we needed some help, because it was a small church, and just feeding that many children on a Wednesday night was going to stretch our budget. So we called on Feeding America. Gary Miles was the director at that time, and said, hey, what can we do? How can we partner? And so we came underneath their umbrella as a Kids Cafe, which is a national program and feeds children, you know, from low-income families. So in 2009, that's what we did, and we started moving forward from that point on. That's
awesome. So tell us about your current location.
Okay, so we are currently at ECLC. Brad Chamblin owns that old Severance Valley building, actually, and so we leased their bottom space. So before that space, we were, in 2012, we formed our own nonprofit, and it was at Von Reno Starks. That's where we started that was our first meeting place, you know. And so after that, we outgrew that space, didn't have what we needed, and so we moved to this old Severance Valley building and leased probably about 9,000 square feet. And we use every bit of it. I can use some more.
Well, describe the program for folks that don't particularly know what it is. It's evolved so much more from just meeting in the living room.
That's right. And so when we were partnering with Feeding America and we're that Kids Cafe program, we realized that we weren't really impacting change. It was a nice charitable deed. We were feeding the kids, but the kids had so many more needs. They had academic needs. They weren't doing well in school. You know, they had physical needs. They needed some more intentional guidance, you know, and so streamline that process. And so in 2012, we formed this nonprofit that encompasses the whole person. So educationally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, we support these kids. And one of our students just wrote the other day, he said, thank you for being there for us for our whole lives. Aww. And that's exactly what we want to do. We want to partner with the family and the child during their school years, you know, during their journey, so that we can help them succeed in life. You know, these kids are smart, they're beaming with potential. I think about that song, I Am a Promise, I Am a Possibility.
Yes.
That's what these kids are. They just need some extra help. A lot of grandparents out there raising grandkids. And so one of our school partners describes this as a full-scale mentoring program, and that's what we are. When the kids come to us after school, they get a snack, they get rec time, and then they get 90 minutes of academic help. We have an academic interventionist on staff now, which we're really proud and we're excited about her. So she pulls the students that have IEPs and they need that extra help. And so we have her on board. Then after they do homework, we come into our little dining area. We have dinner. We sit down and have dinner with the kids, and we engage with them and build those relationships, because that's what's really going to make the difference in the end. I mean, we can be here for them, you know, at Christmas time or summertime, but if you're not there for their whole journey through school, you know, we're not going to be able to have the same impact.
Yes, that's amazing. So how many hours are the kids with you every day?
So the students come through our program just one time a week. So when the child enrolls, they come to us from 2:30 to 6:30. So we're spending 4 hours every week with these students. And so that, if I spend 4 hours a week with you, you know, over coffee or dinner or whatever, you know, we could really build a strong relationship. And so and it's really working. We've seen the change in the kiddos. So
well, sure, like you said, you're building that bond. You're creating that support system, that safe place for them.
Yes.
And gosh, what a reassurance for families to know that their kids are somewhere where they're safe, where they're nurtured, where they're loved, where they're getting that homework help. So I mean, it's not a daycare or just another after school type program. It's really, it's a full-fledged, like you said, full service mentoring, but at another home family type environment.
Yeah, that's right. We're a second family, and the parents entrust us, and to me that's huge, you know, that they trust us enough to let the students come and be with us 4 hours a week. So we take that very seriously. You know, we have built that relationship with the parents as well.
Oh, you have to.
Yes.
Wow, you're just another extension.
Exactly.
I love that. So tell us a little bit, Kaitlyn, tell us a little bit about the target population and how the children actually are enrolled and come to you.
Yeah, of course. So currently we have about 185 students in our program, ranging from kindergarten all the way till 12th grade. So very diverse range of students. All of our students are low income. We also have a very diverse ethnic population. So about 40% of our students are Hispanic, and then we have about 36 that are Caucasian, about 18 or so that are African American percent, and then Asian, and then so forth. So we have, you know, this diverse range of students that bring in their own culture, their own experience, but they get to come to this program and they get to interact with our mentors, and it is really a second family. We do all of these educational programs and educational activities, and those are great and fundamental. However, it's also about the community of it. You know, if you get help with homework, that's important and that's wonderful, but if you don't have a community that's there and supporting you and backing you, it's not going to be the same experience as what we have.
Completely. Tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that some of the children that you serve are facing, and how do you help meet those challenges?
A lot of our students, as I said, they come from low-income families, so there's diversity in that. You know, you have some families that are trying their best and they're trying their hardest. We have some kids that come from the foster care program. We have others that are being raised by grandparents that, you know, they didn't ever see themselves in this situation, and then they ended up in this situation, and now they're raising, you know, 1, 2, maybe 3 grandkids at a time. So there's a lot of hardship that our kids face, and we try to be as open and as loving and as accepting of all of that. As the volunteer coordinator, I initiate and orientate all the volunteers that come in, and I always tell them, I say, now they might be tough cookies at first. A lot of kids that we interact with are really used to people leaving them pretty quickly. It's an unfortunate side effect of the population that we work with. But, you know, if you stick with it and you show them that you're not going to leave, you're going to be there, it overcomes that kind of barrier really quickly. And so I always have to tell them, you know, just stick with it. Just love them through it, and it'll be perfect.
It'll be totally worth it. That's wonderful. I love that. We'll talk a little bit about the actual criteria to enroll. Is there a certain criteria for a family to meet to be a part of the program, or is it open to any child in need?
So our students have to qualify either for passport or food stamps. We don't take students with special needs because we don't have the staff to be able to do that. And right now we're enrolling students 3rd grade and under, the new students, because our hope is that once they start the program, they'll graduate through our program.
Yes.
And so that's the criteria. We take referrals from the schools. The school resource coordinators are great at referring students to our facility or to our program. And then a lot of parents just tell, hey, I heard that we'll get
Word of
calls.
mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth. I heard that this is a place that helps families with their children. Can you help me? And that's pretty powerful, you know. And of course, yeah, we're going to say yes. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say no to kids. And so Kaitlyn's going, Miss Nellie, have you seen our numbers? And it's like, oh, well.
There's always room for one more.
There's always room for one more. That's right. And so the students have to, once they enroll them, they have to be enrolled. Parents have to fill out the paperwork. Then 3 unexcused absences, and the students can lose their enrollment status. So we really hit hard on the attendance, because if you can't show up, we can't help you. And so that's the only thing. We don't charge anything for our services. And actually, anytime the students come and we do any kind of field trip or any time of extracurricular activity, the parents don't have to worry about bringing money. And so that's a huge blessing for them. And so we're saying, so your responsibility is to just be here.
Yeah, just show up.
Just show up. And you know, about 98% of our families and students, they want to be there. And because they've seen the value, like Kaitlyn said, the community. You know, it's more than just an after school helping you with homework. It's the community, you know, the family here. And the neat thing about this also is that we have a satellite campus in Ratcliffe, and we also have one in Litchfield. And so sometimes there's a lot of moving around. And so the neat thing about it is we've had some families move to the Ratcliffe area. So guess what? They don't lose their enrollment.
right.
We just transfer them to our Ratcliffe campus. And so that has worked really beautifully for us.
That is
and for
wonderful.
them.
Yes. Well, I love that you're offering these services at no charge. That is amazing. So, Kaitlyn, I assume that's where you come in resource development. So talk a little bit about how you obtain funding. Where do your funds come from to operate this incredible program?
Yeah, of course. So yes, that is exactly where I come in. We get a lot of support from a lot of community individuals, businesses, churches, different organizations that really have seen the value in what we're doing, that want to build up Hardin County, you know, Grayson County, all of the areas that we're impacting, and so they trust us to handle that kind of investment. We also do grants, so I write grants throughout the year for different organizations, projects, activities, and we do grant funding as well as some fundraising projects. So a couple weeks ago we had a big fundraiser that we're trying out for the first time. We did a Christmas tree festival and auction, and it was all online because of COVID, but it went really well. And so we're always looking for innovative ways to, you know, invest in the kids, and we always strive that it is an investment, because you really do see, you know, the reward. You get that back of what you put in.
That's amazing. Yeah, let's talk about that. I want to get to the stories, the success stories. So, of course, we know what what parents say, but what do your students say, and what are some of those success stories? I know you've got a million of them, but share with us a little bit.
Yeah, I always love sharing this story, but one of our students wrote us, he graduated from high school, North Hardin High School. I know, so he was so excited, but he sent us a thank you letter. It was beautiful. But the thing that stuck out to me about this, and he said, if it wasn't for Mission Hope for Kids, my parents, I wouldn't be graduating from high school. He says, I would have been in prison and doing drugs like everybody else in my neighborhood. He says, even when we were little, my parents couldn't afford any other place. So we had to stay in this neighborhood, but it was infested. He said, and not with bugs, but with drugs and violence and a lot of bullying and gangs. And he said, but I know that you're the reason I graduated from high school. And he said, you're doing a good thing. And he says, keep sowing the seeds. It works. And it's like, oh, that's just enough. Like, that's like a booster shot.
Yes.
You know, it's like, keep doing what you're doing because it's working. You know, and the best thing about it too is he said, now I can make a difference in somebody else's life just like you have done for me.
Wow.
So he comes back, he funds and he supports us financially, and whenever he's not working on Friday, he's got a job here, a local job, he has full-time benefits, and so he's doing well. And he comes and he volunteers on Friday with his dad when he's off from work. So he's seen the value of it, and he says, I want to give back. And that's what it's all about,
yes.
you know?
Paying
it forward.
That's
you know,
amazing.
It's not
And what a great example he is to show your current students to say, hey,
right.
this could be you. This
That's
is
right.
a product of
That's
someone
right.
right there for them to see. That's amazing.
We
You
have
can't see
another
it, can't
student.
be it.
I've got to tell you another one. Then Miss Kaitlyn can share one with you. But one of our students, her auntie brought her to us when she was in 6th grade. Being raised by auntie, dad was in prison, mom died when she was young, and she just needed the help, you know. And so we worked with her, and during her teenage years, she got really rebellious and just difficult to work with, just like my kids, you know, different. But it was a real challenge, and I came that close to saying, you know, I don't know if we can help you or not, you know. But in my heart, I knew we needed to just keep loving her, like Kaitlyn said. They just need that love, you know, that reassurance that somebody cares. And so we kept loving her through those difficult years, and then she graduated from Central Hardin. She graduated with, I don't want to repeat that, but it was a high GPA. And so she ended up in WKU.
Go Tops.
I know, majoring in criminal justice. And this is her 2nd year, and actually she's home for Christmas break, and she texted and she says, do you know of anybody that's hiring? She says, I'm just here for 3 weeks, and my former employer won't hire me for 3 weeks, which is understandable. And I said, well, guess what? We have a lot of work to do at Mission Hope, so come on. So actually she's there now working, but just working, making some extra money. She's got a little car and got insurance, so she's got to take care of that need. So we're just so proud of her. But, you know, she's another one. She said, you know, if it hadn't been for the volunteers, the donors, you know, I wouldn't be in this place. There's just no way. She'd fallen through the cracks.
Exactly.
You know, there's so many students out there, and so the schools are doing a phenomenal job. But so many kids fall through the cracks.
They can't do it all.
Can't do it all. And so that's where we come in as the community, and we embrace, you know, and help empower our students. You know, I know that's really important because they are little promises, you know, full of potential. So we're excited. We're excited about this young lady, and then we had another one this year, ended up in another WKU. So
Yeah, go Tops.
because once the students get into our youth program, 6th grade and up, we start doing college tours.
Wonderful.
And exposing them to ECTC and U of L, WKU, and so they get their eyes open, and they think, wow, you know, is this really possible for me? You know, could this happen for me? And of course, if that's what you want. So we try to empower them and help them along their journey.
That's great. Make them realize that, yes, because again, if you can't see it, you can't be it.
That's exactly
and you have
right.
to plant that seed early, so
that's
sow that seed. So
Planting
Kaitlyn,
the
how about
seed.
you? I know you've got a story or two to share. Favorite?
So Nelle focused a lot on like these long-term stories, which are wonderful and they're great, but we have a lot of short-term, you know, little things, and it's the little things that really add up and kind of remind you why you do what you do. It's hard to see a big picture sometimes, but it's so easy to see, oh, I made one kid's day phenomenally better this year. And so we had a couple weeks back, our Christmas parties for our families adapted because of COVID. And we had one student in particular that I cried, and I will admit that I cried.
Yes.
He had asked for a trumpet for Christmas. We adopt them out like angels. They get sponsored, they get their gifts. And all he had put on his form was that he wanted a trumpet.
Oh my goodness.
And
like a real trumpet,
a
not
real
toy
trumpet.
Okay.
A real trumpet. And so that can be kind of expensive, and we were kind of concerned, but we were like, okay, we're going to adopt him out, make sure you get someone good, and then we're going to see how that goes. And so I was by his table taking, you know, just photographs of the night when he started opening his presents. And he got through the wrapping paper, and it said trumpet on the cardboard box. And he was shaking his head, and he was saying, no, no way. And his mom was like, go on, go open it. And so he got down to the case and to the instrument itself, and he was crying tears of joy. And he was like holding it to himself, and I was like crying, and all the other volunteers were crying, and he was like just uncontrollably happy, and it was just wonderful to see, especially because this year has been so tough for so many kids and families. You know, it's been a year of anxiety and isolation and depression for a lot of kids, not getting a lot of social interaction, but just being able to give him this one Christmas wish, this, you know, really like a representation of the hope, you know, and it was just fantastic to see. And it was one of those things that's like, that's why I do what I do. That is why I do what I do.
Yes, it's those little victories. And to know that he will treasure that for the rest of his life. Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. Thank you to whatever angel was. That
That's
made
right.
that
It's like, thank you so much.
Yes, because it's kind of an odd request.
It is.
Yes.
And you can't just go pick up a trumpet, at
Yeah.
your local store. So that's, somebody had to really,
They went
really,
above and beyond.
Yes, and that's amazing, and that's what Christmas is all about, and that shows just the amazement of your person. And so, talk about your volunteers while we're on that. How can folks volunteer, get involved? What are you looking for in a volunteer?
So, if you have no skills whatsoever, I will still take you as a volunteer.
Yay!
I know, that's pretty broad.
We have a lot of different roles, so it takes a lot to keep Mission running. We have, dozens of volunteers in various positions each and every night. We have kitchen workers who prepare snacks and prepare dinner. We have admins that just answer phones and they do basic secretarial jobs and tasks. We have an on-campus boutique where we take clothing donations, hygiene donations, and we give those out to the families, no cost to them. So we need people that, hey, I can sort clothes on a day off or a week off, or, just some time I can come and I can do something here. We obviously have our mentors. Those are our very dedicated, come in once a week volunteers, and they work with our kids directly. So you will get partnered with a couple students. You will lead them through their academic rotations. You will get to know them. You will get to interact with them the most. We have just a ton of different positions for basically anyone who has, various interests. And the only criteria really is that you have to be 14 or older to volunteer at Mission Hope for Kids, and you have to be able to pass a background check. We have positions that are, hey, you want to give us a couple hours each week? You can do that. We have other opportunities where I can't be here each week, but I could get a group together and come this day and we could do something, and I can find something for you to do. And it's as easy as going to our website, and on our website we have our volunteer application, and I'm always looking forward to new volunteers. This year we have a lot of Beta Club volunteers from Central Hardin, and they've been helping us out a lot. So, just anyone that is interested in making an impact in their community, whether it's, weekly service or just a one-time thing, we can still find a place for you.
Right, and you will train them.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
We won't throw you into the sharks, the kids. I work with the 7th and 8th graders. I'm a mentor on Fridays, which is my day off, but I mentor the middle school kids, and people are like, middle schoolers?
You can do that. You can do anything.
Yes, that's right.
But I'm like, we're never just going to throw you into the kids. You get through an orientation video that goes over all of our policies, and then you have the opportunity to shadow a volunteer that's already in place so that you can see what, is the expectation. It's not just like a video format. You can actually be there in person and see. So yeah, we don't just throw you to the sharks.
Good luck. I love
Learn
that.
as you go.
Right, that's right, and that's the great thing. You have the volunteer that trains and has a mentor themselves. So that's good.
That's right.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, tell me real quickly. We're getting close on our time, but I'd like to know, how do you measure and track the results of success of your program?
So we measure results in a couple various forms. So we partner with the schools, and we get MAP scores or other test scores so that we can track, academic progress amongst our students, and also, the progress of those that are struggling. We have an interventionalist this year, and so we work with the schools on the IEPs and what levels and criteria they need to meet. We also have our own in-house progress reports that our mentors fill out, and they evaluate students on behavior, academics, as well as some other attendance and how cooperative they were, etc. We do track attendance, as Nelle mentioned, just because we have a wait list for our program of kids that want to come in. And if you don't want to be here, or if you're not willing to show up for us to, put in the work, then there could be another kid out there that really needs the program and really wants to be there, and we can't rightfully say, hey, we're going to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying when there's someone else that we could, actually have an impact with. So we evaluate on those different concepts and levels. We also just track, this is how many hygiene items we gave out this year. This is how many food boxes. This year we did a food program because of COVID, and we gave out over 1,000 food boxes. It was a lot of work.
That's a huge undertaking.
It was a lot of work, but it was our way of keeping in touch with the families and keeping engaged when we couldn't meet because of COVID. And so we wanted to know that our kids were still taken care of, and they weren't getting the meals that we were providing each evening. And so we were like, we're going to still provide meals. We're still going to provide something for these families. Amazing. And so we track the resources we give out as well as kids' progression through the program.
That's great. Well, and again, you see the success story, so that tells you in itself, that's a living, breathing example of the success of the program.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Next time we'll have to bring one of them.
Oh, yes.
Yes. You'd love that.
Yeah, I want to talk to that young man. So tell me, what do you need? How can our community help? What can we do to support Mission Hope for Kids?
So volunteer, come see me. We have kids, and it doesn't matter, as I said, like if you have a skill, like that's not important. What's important is being there and showing up for them. Like if you care about them and you just put in the time to be there for them, like that's all they need. You don't have to be a retired teacher. You don't have to have a certain skill set. Like just have a heart for the students. We always need volunteers, but we also, always need support financially from our community. It takes a lot to do what we do. We're caring for 185 students right now. It's been up to 200 before across, various 3 campuses, a lot of activities, keeping the bills paid and the lights on, and all of the resources that they need. It takes a lot. So if you're interested in funding us financially, you can always, again, reach out to me. I am your girl on all of these topics.
Just call Kaitlyn.
Yes, just call Kaitlyn. But it's really easy to get plugged in and to be involved in Mission. Just go to our website. It'll tell you all kinds of information, not only on how to volunteer or how to give, but also about what we do in case there's something that we didn't get to cover today. And we also have videos of testimonies from our students in case you didn't get to hear one of those today.
Great. And give us that website address, please.
Yeah, it is www.missionhopeforkids.org.
Great.
So super easy.
Awesome. Will it have the numbers there for all your locations?
It would have our location number. So our Litchfield campus and our Radcliffe campus kind of go through us, and we kind of direct to them since we're the one that has the more resources. We're been founded longer. But if you ever need a question about Grayson County or about Radcliffe, you can always contact our E-Town office and we'll get you in touch with the right people.
That's awesome. Gosh, we cannot thank you all for the amazing work that you do. So I hope that everyone will go to the website and sign up to volunteer.
Right now.
Exactly. Find a way to get involved because what you're doing is just incredible and it's God's work. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Kendra. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about Mission Hope for Kids.
Well, heavens, yes. We want to give you all that option every chance we get. And like you said, next time we'll bring back some of your students to share because there's nothing better than getting it straight from. And kids are brutally honest. So they will, as I'm sure you have learned, that they will tell you exactly what they think and what they feel. So thank you. We can't thank you enough for all the amazing work that you do and for providing that safe family setting for so many kids that, like you said, would have fallen through the cracks otherwise. So thank you for what you do for taking care of our families and our kids and helping to raise these incredible humans right here in our community. So we appreciate you. We appreciate all of you tuning in. We hope that you have enjoyed this program, that you will get involved with Mission Hope for Kids. If you have any questions or comments, you, again, can go to their website. You can give them a call. You can stop by and see them in person right on Poplar Drive, I believe, right there in Elizabethtown, right in the old Servants Valley Baptist Church building. So thank you, Miss Nelle, and thank you, Miss Kaitlyn, for being here. We appreciate you all. We appreciate you joining us for Issues and Insights. Hope you'll tune in again next time when we'll talk to some more dynamic folks in our community doing some phenomenal things. Until then, I hope you have a blessed and happy holiday season. And on behalf of HCEC-TV, I'm Kendra Scott. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.